You're listening to Laugh Out Loud with Dave and JJ.
How we doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. What's new and exciting?
Not much. Just long day. It was kind of run down. Faith's got a little bit of she's had the coughs here for about a week or so. So give her some cough medicine. Make sure it doesn't turn into anything.
Oh, I thought you said she has the cops here for the week.
we don't roll like that here, Dave.
I was thinking, oh boy, someone stole the pumpkin and she's got the police there.
Well, it's a good possibility. We took down all the trick-or-treat Halloween stuff and put in the...
Don't say it.
What? The pumpkin display.
Oh, okay. All right. I was thinking and we put up our Christmas lights or something.
No. We're not that crazy.
Oh, boy.
You have to at least wait till the next holiday's over before you start the next one. We're not targeting.
Oh, yeah, because you guys got the big one coming up, right? So Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all that good stuff.
Well, I'm about Black Friday. Thanksgiving's coming. I just assume skip having to do the shopping thing.
Yeah. How was Halloween in the neighborhood? Anybody spooky? Scary?
It was fun. Me and the witches of the house. My mom was here for Halloween. She was a witch. Kristen was a witch. Faith was a witch. So I was not a witch.
That's good.
It was the only one, thankfully. Yeah. So Kristen stayed back at the house to hand out Halloween candy.
Yeah.
I opted, but she went ahead and took it.
Yeah.
Me and my mom took Faith out, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Faith was so excited. We made it halfway down the street, and every time we get down to one house, she was kind of in a run jog to the next house. Tell her, sweetie, you need to slow down. I want you to trip. I don't want you to lose your candy. I don't want you to hurt yourself. And about the third or fourth time I told her that, she was running away from me. Like I said, she wasn't running very fast, but she was running away from me. She looked over her shoulder and said, Daddy, I'm so sorry, but I'm so excited I can't help myself. And, what do you do? So instead of telling her to slow down, I just sped up. So I was kind of at a jog to keep up, and my mom caught up every time we would have to go up to the door and wait for candy. So
So it's good that the Pawgrass thing really, ventured into the training from that paid off to help you with Halloween, so that's good.
Yes, and it was funny because I was in full costume. I used an outfit that we had from last year's haunted house we had set up out front, and had a scary pumpkin head. I actually have a picture that I've been trying to get onto my phone so I could Twitter. I've got to send it from Kristen's phone to an email. I got to do a more elaborate way to get it. Yeah, I think it was one that was on Facebook. Once I got home, we still had some trick-or-treaters. Faith was completely wore out, so I had some strobe lights set up. I had spider webs. We had some spooky music. So Kristen was in the front door with a strobe light on her with all the lights in the house shut off, handing out candy. And I was behind. There's like a little nook area between our steps and the front door. So she had the storm door open, which has like a plexiglass, and I was hiding behind the storm door in the kind of the shadow. So when the bigger kids would come up, they would get up and they would see the strobe and see Kristen and just kind of be mesmerized. Well, then I would hit the plexiglass as hard as I could with my palm of my hand and like kind of lunge at the door. And the teenagers, they'd go running away, and there's nothing more fun than scaring big kids. Obviously, I never did to the little kids because that's me. But we had a lot of fun last year with the entire deal that we had set up with. It was kind of like a spooky walkway, and I had a lot of kids come through this year and be like, "Oh, we were expecting to get scared." And next year. Well, you never know. I wasn't really planning on being at home. I was hoping to have been at Talladega, but at the end of the day, it was nice to be home and spend the time with Faith. And these are obviously the precious times that you don't want to miss. And thankfully, I didn't miss this one.
Oh, that's good. It's a sacrifice, and they grow up so fast. I mean, I saw the picture that you'd sent up when she was in her little Halloween T-shirt, or whatever, standing in the hallway, and I thought, oh my God, like looks like she's grown so much just since the summer. So soon it'll be, Dad, give me the keys to the car. I gotta go.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know how that goes, because I'm going to get that before you will. So
yeah, I'm sure it's going to be scary. It's not going to be good for. It's not good for anybody.
No. Well, I see the boys from Rowdy. Are you going back?
No, I was just playing around.
Were you? Yeah. No, I figured you were going back. I just waiting for your belt buckle, right?
Wait for my belt. I'm holding out. Every time I see him, I give him a little bit of crap. So that was part of what that was about.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good, because I'm thinking we haven't designed anything for this show, so it's good that the people that talk on it aren't expecting too much.
Yeah.
What's new in the racing front?
Not much. I was at the Tommy Baldwin Racing shop today and made sure that everything was in order for this weekend's race in Texas.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it is and will be a start and park adventure.
Okay.
I'm pretty surprised to see so many cars on the entry list for Texas. I do know, as far as payoff, Texas is one of the better paying races. I think it pays almost an extra $10,000 or $12,000 over what the average Cup race seems to be paying here at Plate. So, but still, it's a long trip from Charlotte or any of the surrounding areas to get all the way back to Texas. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, 49 cars. That is a lot, eh?
It is, and you look at the breakdown, you see new drivers and new programs, and Texas is it's a tough place, very fast, pretty rough, pretty tricky. So you think about having to be first-time guy working on a program, trying to figure it out, and only having a couple runs at it. I think, if I remember correctly, Texas is one of those places that your sticker run is going to be a lot better than, let's say, a scuff set of tires run. So just like when we made our runs at California, it was usually almost a half a second off between your sticker run and your second laps on the tires, which meant I only made 5 laps of qualifying practice before going to qualify at California. So it makes it sometimes makes it tough to get into that rhythm of really going out there, pushing the car, getting everything you can out of the car without making a mistake.
Well, there's a lot of new first time that the rookies are coming. Trevor Bayne is getting an opportunity to drive the legendary 21. Josh Wise looks like he's driving a relatively new car, R3. I guess it's got something to do with Robert Richardson. Carpentier is driving Airguard. You're driving for Tommy. Gilliland, I guess, is going to take the wheel of the 38 and be outside the top 35. McDowell is going to be in the 46, Cash America. Jeff Green to be determined. Mike Bliss, Prism, Rig, and the 81. So, and Nemechek. Ryan Kessler.
Originally the 81 was offered to me before I took the opportunity there with Tommy. They're supposed to have a Chevy ECR engine for that race, so I'm sure that they'll be pretty tough, and it's going to be the same usual guys. It's going to come down to being really close on making it. That half a tenth of a second is going to be the difference between guys putting in the show and heading to the house. It's going to be tough. A lot of good cars, a lot of unknowns. So
as far as the 36 this weekend, you said it is going to be start and park. Now, are they running the ECR engine? Were you referring to Baldwin, or were you referring to Whitney?
I was referring to Whitney, but Tommy does also have the ECR Chevy power, which those engines are very, very powerful. There's what usually sits on or near the pole. That's what all the Childress guys use. That's what Montoya and McMurray have, and it's a good program, and it allows you a little bit more buffer to maybe make a mistake and still get away with it, because the cars accelerate so much better, and you can go down there and miss a little bit and get the thing rolling again, versus the time I spent in the old Whitney Dodges. If you messed up a little bit, you're hoping and praying that everyone else that was out there messed up worse than you did, because you just weren't ever going to make up for it.
Yeah, because they're actually listed with Dodges. You're saying they're going to take Chevys, but they're actually listed on the list as Dodge.
Yeah. So I spoke with them today, and they were just trying to get everything buttoned up, because I think they had to send everything down the road tonight.
What else? I guess what else is going on? We're coming down to 3 weeks to go. I know there was a little bit of a mix-up with, you had announced your plans a couple of weeks ago, and those subsequently have changed. So can you fill us in a little bit, or?
No, I can. As quick as I was in, I guess I was back out. The goal was to run the 81 car at Phoenix. And like I said, the 81 was offered to me to run these last 3 races. I'd already committed to finish with Tommy. And I guess because circumstances with Terry Labonte missing Richmond, he has to make a race. And he has to, and even if he does it by using his champion provisional, he's got to make a race in order to keep his championship status, or the champion provisional status.
Okay.
So even though he missed the race at Richmond, and Bobby edged him out as the most recent champion.
Yeah.
Terry ended up running the race in 55 and had a problem, but because he didn't qualify the car, that didn't qualify him as making a race.
Okay.
And it has to be a made race; it can't be attempted. So I think it sounded like they were going to try to maybe do a Homestead with a second car for Terry. obviously there's a relationship with Stavola and Tony, and obviously the shop that Whitney works out of is a Stavola shop. So, I think there's a lot of things that kind of work around there. Tony had worked with Terry with John Carter doing some stuff, so there, obviously there's a history there.
Right.
There's an issue, I guess, something has to do with Bobby leading into Homestead, obviously the last race, so if Terry tried to make Homestead and miss the race, then, there's no more chances. And there was something that had to do with, Bobby running Terry in the Stavola car at this week's race. That it didn't, it wasn't going to work out well. So that left.
Well, it looks like Bobby is going to try and attempt to qualify the 10 car this weekend.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good car. Obviously, that's a full blown effort from RCR, and he was exceptionally fast last time he ran it. So
now why wouldn't Terry just run it this weekend? I don't get that.
Well, because if Bobby was in something else, he would get knocked out. I don't know if it was a comfort thing. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know all the details, but
I'm thinking Bobby's the one who needs to sit and watch the race from the sidelines.
Well, originally Bobby was supposed to run I think Bobby was supposed to be in the 71, so that wouldn't have put him into any kind of issue. He would have just went and qualified in and been fine, because that car's locked in, obviously being 35th in points. So. Yeah.
Are your plans to go to Texas? Oh, yeah. Of course, you've got plans to go to Texas. You're going to Texas.
I'll leave Thursday to go to Texas, and
this is the part that Karen will edit.
Obviously, Texas is in the future. In the process of working on Phoenix, there still are a couple options.
Okay.
To be in Phoenix, and then round out the whole shebang in Homestead, and see if we can't close out these final 3 races, making them, get some programs going, get some good momentum going. We've had some good discussions with different teams, and mainly, not even so much as going out knocking on doors for teams is those relationships, trying to find sponsorship dollars, because at the end of the day, if you have money, it doesn't matter which one of the teams it is, you've got an opportunity. And I've even talked to a truck team today that had a truck listed for Texas but didn't have a driver listed. And, they said, well, no, we have a driver, we just have it on an entry list. But, if you come up with anything, we would love to go truck racing with you next year. I mean, there's, obviously, I'm sure they said to anyone and everyone who says, hey, guess what, I got some money.
Yeah.
So, that part of it is the disappointing part that makes the sport different now than what it used to be.
It's just amazing how hard it is to get things going. I mean, it's just 49 teams going into Texas. Brian Keselowski, he's entered a car, and driving it. I think it's probably only his second or third time trying to qualify for a Cup race this year. I know he's ran a few nationwide races.
That was supposed to have Johnny Sauter in it for the rest of the year. So obviously, whatever happened with his one shot at Charlotte, that was enough for him to decide that he needs to focus on the truck or whatever.
Now, when you go to Homes, do you think you'll go the whole race and race it?
Yeah, and it all depends. I mean, if someone between now and then came up and said, hey, we got $50,000, obviously 50 is probably isn't enough. I think for the mile-and-a-half races, the dollar figure for what they try to get is usually closer to $100,000, which is still so small compared to what some larger teams are getting $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 per race.
So it would be a starting park then, as at this point, still starting park.
Yeah, this part right now is still starting. And with Tommy, you never know, because most of the time he says, okay, we're going to run 20 laps. Next thing you know, we run 120, and he's a competitive guy. He's a racer. So he wants to go out there and get the job done. And I'm sure if we went out there, we qualified well, and the car was really good. At the end of the day, if there's nothing on the car as far as sponsorship, regardless of being a racer or not, it just doesn't make sense to go out there and you're basically going to squander away any kind of profit that you might have made. Most likely you're going to end up in the hole. So, obviously you don't want to finish off the year going to run a race where you have a chance of wrecking a car, where you're going to run the whole race and end up with nothing at the end of the day, because that extra 30, 40, 60, whatever that number is that you're going to net is what you look for to kind of get you through the time off. Thank you. A pleasure. Always is a pleasure.
How about you, Dave? Did we lose him again?
Must have. All right, well, I guess we ain't got to worry about Dave.